So a threshold run is your second run. Your third running training session, should I say, we're looking at interval training. Now this is the key, because high intensity interval training, and I'm talking about intervals of no more than 60 seconds, 30 seconds ideally, with like a 1-to-1 or maybe even a 2 or 3 times as much recovery as actual activity. So you're working out for 30 seconds max intensity, and you're recovering for 90 seconds or even up to 2 minutes. Then you're going again, hitting it hard. This is tough training. Now if you're a newcomer to exercise, if you've not done any training before, then you've got to take a little bit of care here and spend a few weeks, maybe up to a month, just getting your body used to just going out there and running. So that's fine. We're talking about if you've been running for a little while here, and you may be a little bit deconditioned, but you've been doing some running. Then interval training, high intensity interval training, HIIT, HIIT training. There's another one for you. It's just a wash of acronyms today. That HIIT training is gonna really ramp things up, because again you're gonna get this boost to your metabolism after the workout, and that, my friend, is what we're after here. Okay, so you've got 3 training sessions a week that involve running. That should do it. There's no need to go for a recovery run or anything else like that, because unless you're a professional athlete, you don't need to be training twice a day. You don't need to be putting in 50 miles plus just to get the mileage into your legs. It just doesn't work like that. You don't need to do that. I certainly didn't when I've done a couple of 3-hour marathons, and I've only trained twice a week. And actually, I did 0, maybe one speed session. One speed session. If you're a normal marathon runner and you're not trying to lose fat, then first of all, what you're doing watching this video. But secondly, you don't need to be doing huge amounts of speed work, if any at all. But if you're looking for fat loss, then yes, speed work is key. And it's going to boost your fitness as well. I mean, don't get me wrong, this isn't just about losing fat. You're still going to get huge performance gains as well. But if you're just training for marathons, then you probably don't need to do the interval stuff. Thresholds, long run, fartlek, hill repeats, that's all good stuff. But, don't need to do the 30 to 60 second stuff, because it's just not going to make enough of an impact on your fitness if you're already at that level. Okay, so what do we get up to? So you've got your 3 runs in the week. What about the other sessions? Let's say you're going to commit 5 days a week to training. Now, these don't have to be 2-hour sessions, but your long run's going to be fairly long. Your threshold run, maybe 40 to 60 minutes, and your interval training session 30 to 45 minutes. So we're not massively into huge lengths of time here. Let's say we're going to take 2 sessions a week additional. What are we going to do in them? We're not just going to kind of just sit around and just, your stretch stuff is important, a bit of Pilates. But actually for fat loss, the missing link with most runners is resistance training. Resistance training. So this is like, lifting weights or doing body weight training, or there's a couple of exercises in my blueprint which you'll have got. And these are brilliant for running strength conditioning, but there's loads more stuff you can do if you want to improve and increase your metabolism, the rate at which you burn fat. And that's what strength training really does. Now, we're not talking about kind of building massive muscles here. We don't really need that. We certainly don't want it for running. What we do want to do is increase muscle mass, just by a little bit, by doing this resistance training, because every pound of muscle mass you have on, you're going to boost your metabolism by a good few calories per day. I don't know what the stats are, but it's a significant number. For each pound of muscle mass you have on, your body is going to be burning more calories at rest. So what they call your resting metabolic rate is going to be increased. So, strength training. 20 to 40 minutes twice a week, 3 times if you can sneak it in there, and you might even want to do a bit of resistance training session after a training session, after a running session, as you kind of just double back them up there, back to back sessions. So what should we be doing? What kind of exercises should we be focusing on? My preference is to go for big multi-joint exercises, kind of compound movements. So rather than sitting around doing arm curls and arm extensions and all that stuff, unless you're a bodybuilder, that stuff's pretty useless, a bit of a waste of time. Now, if you've got loads and loads of time on your hands, then sure, that stuff can be good fun as well. But it depends on what you understand by fun. But for some people, it'll be fun. But if you've only got like 40 minutes to have a workout, then focus on the big movers, things like your squats, your lunges, your press-ups, pull-ups, and they're just your body weight exercises. If you have access to a gym, you don't need to be a member of a gym, but if you do have access, or you have your own weights, things like deadlifts, you're picking a weight up from the ground and putting it back down again. My wife always takes the mickey out of me when I say, I've just been to the gym. So she says I've just been picking things up and putting them back down again, which is pretty much what I do. So Yeah, a little bit sad really, but hey, you know, it gives me a kick. So deadlifts and rows, and so you know, bent over rows, upright rows, shoulder presses. There's loads of stuff you can do with weights. There's loads of things you can do just with your body weight. And intensity is quite important here as well. You want to be kind of getting yourself to a range of maybe 8 to 12. So don't just think about doing loads and loads and loads of reps, like, you know, 50 at a time, 50 squats, 50 press-ups. That's all good stuff if you can. But if you can do that kind of number, then you've got to back down. You've got to start looking at increasing the load somehow. There's always ways you can increase the resistance. I'm going to put like a little video together at some point where I'll talk about, I'll go through some examples of these exercises so you can see how you can make them harder or easier, or more or less challenging, should I say. So there's some of the exercises you can use, and you know, well, actually some of my favorites combine those movements. So if you take a shoulder press and a squat, two great separate exercises, combine them, and it's like exercise on drugs. You know, you go in from a squat, you drive it up, and you press into a shoulder press. Or you do a pull-up on a chin-up bar, you drop down, you do a press-up, you come back up, do a pull-up, you drop down, do a press-up. Now these are combination exercises, and these have a super effect on your metabolism because your heart rate's going to get jacked up there as well. You're going to get the strength training effect. And I swear, 30 minutes of that kind of training, you won't need to train for 2 hours doing that stuff. If you can do 2 hours of intense training like that, then please write in, let me know. I want to meet you. I want to train with you. I want you to teach me some stuff and how you do it. The more intense a workout, the less time it takes to do it. So just to recap on what we've just been through there, because there's quite a lot, and there's a bit of a shift in mindset as well from the conventional wisdom of you've got to do lots of long, slow distance training. There's no time to do resistance work because you've got to focus on your running. That's kind of conventional wisdom for a runner. But when you're looking for fat loss, I mean, I'll say resistance training is useful anyway. You know, across the board, whatever level of athlete you are. But if you want the best results for fat loss, then you've got to be including some high intensity interval training with your running. Back off the amount of long, slow, steady miles that you're putting in. Don't focus on the mileage, focus on the quality and the intensity. And make sure you're getting some resistance training in there as well. That's just so critical. You just do that one thing. Just do that one thing. Just add in a strength training session once, or ideally twice or 3 times a week. And things are just going to change. It's going to be off the charts with your results. I've seen this so many times. It's just like a magic pill. You start adding it in, build it up gradually, and things are going to change. I hope you've enjoyed this post, and I hope you've enjoyed this little mini series of posts about fat loss for runners. As always, leave me a comment below. I love reading your comments, and as you'll see, I try to respond to as many as I can. But it kind of helps me develop where I'm going with this stuff and what's important to you. So please do leave a comment below. Thanks for listening today and watching the video. I'm George Anderson, and this is IntelligentRunning.com. Bye for now.